So I pulled this one up because I wanted to get other people's opinions on it. So, one, I still hate the fact that this is live action. I really do. I hate the fact it's live action. The Legend of Zelda live action movie director Wes Ball wants the film to be serious yet whimsical. So let's just get to what he says. I have this awesome idea. I've been thinking about it for a long freaking time of how cool a Zelda movie would be. I want to fulfill people's greatest desires. I know it's important, this Zelda franchise, to people, and I want it to be a serious movie, a real movie that can give people an escape. That's the thing I want to try to create. It's got to feel like something real, something serious and cool, but fun and whimsical. Now, what did you get from that? What do you think?
I think that this is kind of a scattergun approach to how you would you would go about it. I mean, like,
Hmm.
there's not. I mean, sure, fulfill our desires, absolutely. A serious movie, well, you can do that. I mean, obviously, we witnessed it with the Super Mario Brothers film, um, and an escape. I would love to see that. I mean, this is like a wish list of things you want to see in a film. The problem is when you take this kind of a shotgun approach without any specificity. Well, yeah, I dream about all these things too. It's just, I want it to be good. It has to be serious. There has to be whimsy. There's no doubt about it because it exists in the game. But I mean, but it still has to exist in more in the based serious side of things because there are stakes involved in any of these Zelda quest based games. You're constantly trying to resolve the main problem and rescue the land and the princess. I mean, that's what almost every Nintendo game is about. And I just hope they stick with that theme. And I really don't want Zelda to be rescuing herself. I want it to
Yeah.
be Link. I want all of these adventures that we get to just follow Link, to 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 have the same kinds of interactions that we've come to know in the games. And
All right.
they better properly utilize the Triforce, or we're gonna have words.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So,
Yeah.
so would you say you're optimistic or not optimistic?
Well, the fact that all the right buzzwords are in place, I mean, that gives you reason to be optimistic, but lots of people can put the buzzwords in the right place. So I've been disappointed when people have indicated they wanted to stay true to stuff, and I've been, excited when they've done it. I mean,
All right.
since this is coming out of the Nintendo universe, my thoughts would be they'll do a good job. But I mean, what's
Yeah. Okay.
Westfall's
Well,
record?
let me give you my 2 cents, right? So
Yeah.
I still hate the fact that this is live action. It just
Mm,
is what it is. I think it's a big risk.
It's huge risk
I think it's going to be very expensive as well.
and
Big
hard to
risk
do,
to
and hard to do.
budget and box office. But
Yeah.
well, I read this and I was like, this is positive. So he's got an idea. He's been thinking about it for a long time. But the thing which caught my eye, and I was like, you know what? I like this. I want to fulfill people's greatest desires. Now, we've had a string of directors and actors coming out recently, very recently, in fact. The Fallout director said it recently, and we get it all the time. Can't please the fans. I didn't try and please the fans. Nah. This guy is actively already, before they've even gone into production, saying, I want to please the fans. Now, last time I heard they wanted to please the fans was Sonic, when they released that god awful trailer with that god awful design. And they were like, you know what? Actually, we've messed up here. We're going to go back to the drawing board. And they did. So this is positive, I think. I think that's very positive. But so that's great. Wanting to please the fans, that's brilliant, right? That's great. Super, super positive. On top of the live action being something which is risky, I also think fun and whimsical. When I hear fun and whimsical nowadays, because of how Hollywood is, I think that they're going to try and do something like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I think they would view fun and whimsical as. So that's concerning to me because that's not what I want Legend of Zelda to be. That's only me reading into it, FYI. But we've got a
you
track
don't
record of things from Hollywood to indicate that that's generally what they think when they say fun and whimsical. Anyway, well, what do you think based on that then?
well, you don't want them to gun it up, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't want Marvel humor in this, and I'm with you 100%. Again, you got to have comic relief in a fantasy adventure game like this. You have to, right? You also have to show some growth in the character, because you can't do it in the form of levels or whatever. You can't have like little marks on somebody's arms for their lives like they did in Jumanji when they rebooted that. You've got this has to be somewhat based in reality, because you're bringing it to live action. You could have been more playful with it if you left it in a more animated world, right? So this is going to be odd. The question is, how do they visualize the voices in this world, right?
Well, Link shouldn't say a word.
That's my point. How are they going to do that? And is Link going to speak? I mean, are you going to hear
Are
Link's
they
voice?
going to have like some exposition where he's a mute? Someone's like, "Oh no, he doesn't say anything." Ugh.
I mean, this is not a great thing.
Live action, they shouldn't have done live action.
They shouldn't have done it.
I stand by that. They really shouldn't have.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, anyway, I just thought I'd add this in just at the end. Any additional sort of things that we broke this story? I remember.
I remember, going way back when, and then I was talking about the fact that this is a far cry better than Fallout. This is a far cry better than most everything that we've gotten. If this is the kind of statements that are being made, I just want this to be more like One Piece than it is like the latest Airbender bullshit. So
yeah. I mean, this is also quite positive because Nintendo are behind it. That's also the other thing to keep into account. Nintendo are on it. Nintendo are very protective of their property. That's why Super Mario Brothers came out the way it did, because they are very protective of it. So that kind of makes sense. I think this is more positive than it is negative. Let's put it that way. That's a big sign.
Yeah, look, the only big question is the same thing that I'm going to continue to harp on, which is that it just stay within the game framework. And I really don't want Marvel humor. And if they can pull off live action, I'm going to give them all the props in the world. But it's the only thing I'm worried about. And I want good video game movies. It's how they're going to survive now, because they have no creativity. They have to steal from games. So,
agreed.
Yeah,
absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We got a Dung is Fun. Says Link has many things to talk about, but why?
But why? Yeah. True.
Dear oh dear, dear oh dear. Right.
Maybe
I get lots of super chats like this one. The Boxing Historian sent in $5 and says Legend of Zelda needs to be serious. No live action, no MCU humor.
Yeah.
Japan is the last beacon of hope for entertainment at this point. I would agree with that. For a large degree, absolutely.